Hello, Death to Chester listeners, fans, viewers, and strangers. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you. I want to start out by saying thank you to everybody who so far has showed up to the YouTube channel to run those views up, to like and subscribe on the videos, leave comments, giving a little bit of feedback. It's been encouraging so far. Nothing too crazy. But, I know a hateful comment will sometimes pop up because I advertise my podcast to complete strangers by fishing or not catfishing, trolling, fucking with people online. I get a lot of attention to this podcast aside from, the run-of-the-mill viewer or listener by pretty much fucking with people online for them to say, who is this fucking dickhead? And to come check out my podcast. Once you click on the podcast, you want to find something to try to roast me on, right? You want to get back at me. You want to look for personal details. And all you're going to find at the end of your screen, the other end, is a funny motherfucker with a story to tell. And today is no different. Today, I have more stories to tell, more life experiences. And if you couldn't tell by the empty chair here, I do have a treat for you. I do have another guest that is ready to come share the Death to Chester experience, personally with me and also with you all. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you again to everyone who has watched thus far. Please spread the word. Let's get this podcast up and running the way it's supposed to be, the way it deserves to be. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my second ever guest on the podcast, a good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Robbins. What's up, Terry?
Hello, Chester. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm doing all right today.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah,
it's an honor being your second guest.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to bring everybody kind of up to speed here. So we're going to touch on a pretty, I don't know if it's controversial, but just kind of like a iffy topic today about paranormal activity and ghosts. I don't know how many people have experienced something that they can't quite explain, and maybe they attribute to spirits or ghosts of some kind. I've personally had experiences in my past regarding that, which gives me the ability to speak on this topic. But you were sharing with me, Terry, some experiences that you have had recently that really piqued my interest, and I thought it would be really good to have you on the podcast and kind of share your story, and then, maybe give some type of support to other people that experience the same thing. They'll kind of be like, okay, I'm not alone, or I'm not crazy, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Do you ever have anybody that thinks you're crazy for the stories that, or I don't know, do you share this with people often?
I've shared some of my experiences with people, and yeah, they might think I'm crazy. Hell, I think I'm crazy too sometimes. Some of the shit I've said, I'm not exactly, I believe in ghosts and spirits and all that too. But I sometimes I think, is it me? Am I having a psychotic break? Is this really happening? Stuff like that. And I'm sure a lot of people probably think the same thing when I share the stories with them. So,
yeah, that's been my personal experience. I know that I've had these experiences that I'll be sharing on this episode. I've had certain experiences, but for some reason it always seems a little bit far-fetched when somebody else is sharing their story with me. That's been my experience in the past. Somebody will say something, and I'm like, okay, I do believe in ghosts, I do believe in spirits, but I don't know if I believe in your story. And I do come across as the podcast progresses, you're going to hear about a lot of wild people that I've come across in my journey of life. And I don't know how they all end up finding me. I don't know if I am some type of beacon for the deranged, but I've definitely had some interesting characters cross my path in this journey called life, and so I think some of them are out of their minds, and but they're comfortable coming and talking to me. So I give you my prescription, I guess, or my diagnosis of being fairly stable-minded from my experience with you, hanging out with you and such. So I believe your story, or I really want to believe the things that you tell me, because I know that you're not completely bonkers. I can attest to that for him.
Thank you.
I can vouch.
I appreciate that. Anyways, what would you like to hear first? Should I go back to the...
What's really standing out the most for you regarding a paranormal experience that you've had? What's maybe start with the recent activity that you've kind of experienced with just the recent one that you shared with me just a few weeks ago.
Okay. So 5 years ago, I moved in with my then girlfriend into her house.
Now wife. Taken.
And it was cool. It was nice. Nothing really weird happened. Where I came from prior, some weird stuff happened. We'll get into that later. But one of the things that come to mind most significant was one night. This was I would say this is about 3 or 4 years ago. We were laying in bed together, and we had our backs to each other. And I was having a hard time sleeping, so I was just laying there. And I closed my eyes, hoping, maybe if I close my eyes, it'll help me sleep. Well, as I closed my eyes, and I'm laying there, I could feel the tip of the index finger, get pressed to my forehead and push my head back. Not hard, not violent, just a regular little push. And I immediately woke up thinking my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, wanted something from me, or was trying to get my attention, or trying to poke my eyes out. I don't know which one. So, I immediately look at her, and I'm like, and as I'm looking at her, I see the way she's laying, her back is to me, and I'm like, okay, that's crazy for her to move that fast.
So let's get some some ambiance. So it's maybe the middle of the night when you guys are laying in bed.
Yes.
And you're beginning to fall asleep. And
Correct.
It's maybe the middle of the night, but you physically feel your head. Is that what woke you up?
My
your
head
moved?
My head went back. Yeah. It was enough force to push my head back.
And it felt like a pressure point.
But it wasn't like a punch, or it was just a gentle push. And I was like, what?
So you open your eyes.
Yeah.
And your back is turned to your wife, or your girlfriend at the time, but we're going to go ahead and just say wife for now.
That's fine.
From now on.
She won't mind.
Yeah. Till death do you part. Till you're a ghost yourself. So you open your eyes, and what do you see? It's just pitch black?
Yeah, I don't see anything. I just see the outline of my wife laying down, and I get closer.
So you turn around, you turn over, and you see her there.
Yeah, with her back to me.
So what's your thoughts then? Your head gets pushed back, and you see her just laying next to you.
Immediately, my brain goes to, did she push me? And then immediately roll over. But how would she be able to reach over my back, push me,
and hook over you,
and then roll back over without making a sound, and
without you feeling it?
Yeah. So my rational brain's kicking in, trying to make sense of what just happened, because I know what I felt.
Okay.
Also, I wasn't on drugs or alcohol or any medications whatsoever
at the time.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But so I'm trying to rationalize this.
Are you on drugs right now?
No, sir.
Okay.
Just caffeine.
Okay.
But coffee.
Okay.
Anyways,
it's okay if you are.
No judgment here.
No judgment here. Just because I'm sober doesn't mean I expect everyone to be.
But so my rational brain's kicking in. I'm looking at her. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna wake her up. I'm gonna ask her. Like, maybe she's some crazy gymnast I don't know about yet. Which
Not only would she be a crazy gymnast, she would also. I mean, you just said you're gonna wake her up, so she's also knocked out,
that is
dead
true.
to the world.
That is true too.
How could she fall asleep that fast?
Exactly.
Unless she has an narcolepsy or something.
Or she's faking it. But
Or faking it. Oh yeah, okay. So you're thinking about it. You're trying to come to a conclusion, and so what happens then?
so I
You
wake her up. I'm saying, hey, did you just touch my forehead? And of course she's kind of groggy in and out, waking up, and she's like, no, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I swear to God, someone just poked my forehead. And she's like, no, I'm just been laying here. I was sleeping. You woke me up. And I was like, okay, all right, whatever. Just chalk that up to the, to the extra weirdness that I've experienced in my life.
Was this the first experience was that the first experience that you had in the house since you've been living there? With your wife? Since you guys have been living there together?
Now that I think about it, no, because like I said, I've heard doors close. I've heard footsteps through the hallway, stuff like that. But I've always just felt like, oh, the house is settling. So I guess technically it was the first experience to make me think, okay, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to rationalize all the other stuff that's happened.
No, right. Like, sometimes I feel when I'm like, when I'm sleeping and stuff, I lay shirtless and stuff like that. And sometimes I feel something tickle my nipple. And, I am a single man at the moment, as far as, I live alone and everything like that. And so, sometimes you just got to chop it up to roaches, And I used to hear, like, not in this place where I'm at now, but as a younger man living on my own, I would hear things in the walls and stuff like that. But it was just like possums, and raccoons, like making homes up in the ceiling and stuff like that. When I'd hear scratching and so definitely like just because you're hearing sounds in the middle of the night or whatever, you can't necessarily chalk it up
it's
to
paranormal activity. Exactly.
It's ghosts. It's like
yeah. And I'm not that kind of person. I don't immediately just start calling ghost hunters and shit. And my house is haunted. Come.
You don't like have a nice like night of like booze and video games and pass out in your bed naked and then like wake up and like I was raped.
Yeah.
It's you don't think irrationally like that. Okay, let me put 2 and 2 together here. You don't jump directly to ghost.
Yeah.
But now you're starting to experience these things physically. Did the ghost touch you anywhere else?
Unfortunately, no. It was just the forehead, which also made me think maybe it was aiming for my mouth. I don't know, but got the forehead.
It was dark in there, so they couldn't see. They probably poked you in the head.
I do sleep with my mouth open too, so I don't know. It would be hard to miss.
Well, so how about your wife now? Does she get affected by any of these kind of experiences, or is it just you? Because you could be on set schizophrenic.
Okay, yes, you are correct. But let me finish because that's the beginning of the story that I'm going to tell you.
Okay, I'll listen.
So that happened, and I could see when I tell my wife that I could see it in her eyes. She's kind of like I don't know.
Like, not today, Terry.
Yeah. Did you really wake me up just to tell me this, or were you wanting something else? So I'm like, okay.
Well, while we're up.
Yeah. Right. so as she's laying there, I'm starting to realize, okay, maybe it was a dream. Maybe I had a waking dream, or whatever.
I've had dreams where I felt like I'm, getting ready to fall off the edge of something or off my bed or whatever. So you wake up and you're fine.
So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I was more tired than I thought. Whatever. Chalk it up is not as weird as I thought it was. So now we come to a more present time where this is a story I had told you where we were laying in bed again, and this happened a couple weeks ago too. I'm sorry, that happened a couple weeks ago. We're laying in bed again. We got asses facing each other.
Hole to hole.
Yeah. And well, they weren't that close for this to happen. So I'm laying there, and I feel 3 little fingers with nails on them scratch my behind, scratch my naked butt cheek. And in my disgrace, I was very tired and very groggy because it was...
Oh, no, you are not about to tell me what you're about to tell me right now.
It was a rough day at work, and I immediately assumed my wife was wanting some, late night activities.
And you were about to be a meanie head and tell her no, I'm not in the mood.
No, I didn't even tell her no.
I have a headache.
I just laid there.
That old line. I just
laid there and was like, maybe if I don't
possum.
move, she'll think I'm asleep. So right after that, I felt it again. Just a little scratch, just a little tickle. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do it. I'm just too tired tonight. So I let it go, fell asleep. Next morning, I'm telling her, hey, I'm sorry. I was tired last night. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I go, I know.
She deserves a little more than an apology.
I know. I'm still in shame. But I'm telling her, yeah, I felt this. I thought you were wanting my attention last night, so I felt that little tickle. That wasn't me. That's what she tells me. That wasn't me. And I go, no, you did it twice. And she's like, that wasn't me. And as I'm talking to her, I'm realizing another thing. My wife don't have fingernails. She doesn't do the little press-on nails or the gel nails and all that shit. Only for special occasions, but there hasn't been a special occasion for a while. So yeah, she had no fingernails.
So you have a ghost coming and tickling your ass as you sleep. Who the fuck is your ghost? Jeffrey Epstein? What kind of pervert ghost do you have in your house?
That's what I was thinking,
I mean, it's not the worst thing that can happen. If I got haunted, I'd want to be haunted by a succubus or something that just, sucks my spirit out into the spirit realm.
Well,
tickles my ass a little bit.
I think I don't know. It seems to be going for my face, and now it's just going from the backside. So maybe shit. I don't know. This did all happen after Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's on the loose. He lives in another dimension, and he's coming for your ass.
Jesus save me. Okay, so that happened, and again, my wife gave me the side eye. Thinks maybe I'm a little off. Maybe he's cracking a little.
He keeps telling me about ghosts.
Yeah. So the next night, we're laying in bed, and I'm laying there again trying to sleep. Rough day. She rolls over, looks at me wide-eyed, and says, "Were you just rubbing my head?" And I was like, "No, I've been trying to sleep." And then she simulates, this is what I felt, and she simulates what was going on. That she felt a hand pressed on the top of her head, and it started gently massaging the top of her head.
Okay, something like this.
Which is weird because it is something that I do for her sometimes because she gets headaches and I'll rub her scalp.
Okay.
And so she was assuming it was me just doing that.
So you're getting she's being catfished by a ghost.
I see. That's what I'm thinking. I think this fucker has some ulterior motives here.
I think it's bisexual. I think it's trying to have a threesome.
Yeah, that's what.
Hey, hey, ghost, you can come over to my house. I'll take all the hunting you want to give me if you're trying to have
a twosome.
Yeah, for a twosome. Yeah, I'm just tired of this.
Yeah. So yeah, that was her experience, and that happened. Like I said, that happened a couple of weeks ago. So
Okay, so now she went from maybe being skeptical about your stories to, is she a believer now? Like, she knows, well, you might be crazy, but I'm not crazy, and I know what I felt.
I
And
want
then
to.
you're like, see, I've been telling you. Does she still kind of thinking like it's a one-off thing?
I think she's still trying to rationalize it too, like I am, because like I said, you know, I've experienced other things throughout the years, and I still try to, in my little brain, I try to explain it. You know, and it is kind of weird because I would love to know if this shit's real. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it'll take for me to believe it. Like, do I need the ghost of Elvis Presley to walk up to me and be like, "Look, bitch, I'm a ghost"? You know, I don't know, but that's where I'm at.
Okay, so that's the most recent.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that was the last thing to happen, was her head being rubbed.
Okay. So, but how about before you moved into this house? Did you have experiences in the past? Do you think maybe this is something you brought with you into the home? Do you think this maybe an older home that maybe this spirit or whatever, maybe just energy that's in this home? You think it was already there, or do you think something that follows you around?
She's been living at that house for 20 years, and she said that she personally hasn't experienced anything. Now her daughter has claimed to hear noises in her room, things coming out of her closet, like sounds and stuff, voices. So, you know, she likes to sleep with the TV on to help alleviate some of that anxiety, you know.
Yeah, and kind of keep it noisy so she doesn't hear the subtle noises and the complete silent dark.
I've sat in her room before when she's not been there to see if I can hear or see anything, and I don't discredit anything her daughter says. I just want to help. I just want to make sure that, you know, she doesn't grow up with whatever's going on affecting her schooling and all that stuff, because I've heard stories about, you know, kids being haunted, and, you know, the parents don't, oh, you're just nuts, whatever, you know, and I don't want to be like that with her. So we try to, I try to experience it too, and so we can have a better understanding what's going on. But before, like you were, to answer your question, yes, I've experienced things prior to that at, because I used to live with my grandma, and I've experienced things in that house. You know, some odd things I couldn't explain. And me and my wife actually talked about it, that maybe I did.
Maybe you did bring it into the home with you.
Which, you know, that makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
But
when I was in rehab, I could relate to your daughter, you know, like hearing things at night, and, you know, so you want to sleep with the TV on. And when I was in rehab, it was a co-ed facility, so you had like men in one hallway and women in another hallway, and you weren't allowed to have a TV in the rooms. You know, you had bunk beds, so up to 3 people could be in a room. And yeah, one night I was laying there, and I started kind of hearing like some spooky noises, like you know, and so it kind of startled me up, and it was just one of the girls that snuck in and started sucking my roommate's dick.
oh,
Yeah.
well, that's a happy little surprise.
Yeah.
Well, for him, I don't.
Yeah. Like,
you.
well, you know, I just kind of like, my eyes were already adjusted kind of to the night. You know, I woke up, my eyes kind of adjusted, and so I just kind of, you know, just flicked my dick around. You know, I wasn't getting hard-ons yet because my body was adjusting to being sober and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a weird time, but I kind of like, you know, flicked my dick in the dark, and which I've been doing my whole life anyway, but it was just like kind of cool to kind of see, like, you know, a silhouette of some people getting it on, even though I can't, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I forget where I was going with that. I had something else to share on that, but it's okay.
The sounds, the noises.
Yeah, the sounds. Oh, what I was gonna say is, that could have I didn't have to, just be sitting there flicking my dick. I didn't have to. I could have been an active participant. There was some women that were in there for multiple months. I was only there for 30 days, and I don't consider myself a bad-looking fellow. And they enjoyed talking to me and stuff, but the whole time I just cried about losing my family and everything, and that doesn't really get anybody's pussy wet, I don't think. Not from my experience so far.
Oh, yeah. No, I could see that.
Yeah, just kind of already embarrassing being a man crying.
Sahara,
Yeah. I mean, they were hot to trot, but, a lot of them were also kind of getting off fentanyl and stuff, so they had a lot of scabbing on the face and whatnot. So.
Maybe just sitting there flicking your dick was the right call then.
I think so. Yeah. Because
in hindsight,
I'm 35 now, and to this day I haven't had any STD yet. But I'm not going to say the thought hasn't crossed my mind to venture into dangerous territory. I'm all about life experiences. So I feel like, you can get rid of gonorrhea and chlamydia. I mean, it might be interesting just to get it once, just to kind of see what it's like. I mean, maybe at some point in my life, try it out.
Well, we do regret the things we don't try, so.
I think I had a friend that used to get STDs all the time, and they would just kind of nuke him with antibiotic pills and shots in his butt. But he was getting these STDs so frequently that they ended up putting it's a law now, if you're a serial STD getter, you could potentially be spreading it. It's a public health issue.
I would say so, yes.
And so in his hospital chart, it was on his front page, risk of serial STD haver, it's a risk. It's right at the beginning.
Wear a hazmat suit near his penis.
Yeah. Or just stay away from it. How about that? Like a fucking pothole, just go around. Nothing to see here. There's nothing good that's going to come from sleeping with him. He was a good friend of mine. He was on the Fork and Socket podcast. His name was STD Charlie. Yeah, he actually...
cute name.
He was actually dating a phlebotomist, and so for whatever reason, he had chosen, while he was talking to her and stuff, he wanted to get sexually active with her, and he was finally making, after a 2-year dry spell, he was making some progress, and he was a little younger than me, and I was proud of the guy, Especially young men, it's very necessary, but for all men, but very necessary for, you in your 20s, young 20s and stuff to get your rocks off. So I was very happy that he was able to, pretty much pull him something, but, he had to get his checkup and get his blood work done, if he wanted to hit it raw especially. So when he got his checkup done, and he actually had her, for whatever reason, access his chart to, pull out the orders, and she's seen front page in red, look out. And she stopped fucking with him after that. It was bad. He said
no.
He kind of turned on a faucet, just slightly. So the water was just barely, dripping. He's like, Chester, check this out. Yeah, that's what my cum looks like now. Mine is like Greek yogurt. His was just fucking water now.
He could
really nuked his system.
He could have got her for HIPAA violation.
He could have. He could have yeah.
If you're gonna cut me off, I'm gonna get you with a HIPAA violation.
Yeah, suit her for not giving him pussy. Yeah. Hey, that would have been a good. Very few times have I had an opportunity to blackmail someone for pussy. I wish I would. That's another life experience I want to have. He had it in his hand, and he
fucked up, Charlie.
He fucked it up. Or Stanley, STD Stanley. Yeah. But okay, so you've had some kind of weird stuff going on, potentially a spirit that you brought with you. I likewise have actually had some paranormal activity, and so let me tell it. I might as well get it out. I've never shared this for the podcast or on either Fork and Socket or this podcast. Something that I pretty much kept to myself because I don't think that anybody's going to believe me. But so I was maybe 4 or 5. It's one of my earliest memories of my lifetime. And I was staying at my grandparents' house. And so I'm so young at that time, I'm in the bed with my aunt. and it's nighttime, and she's laying. She has her back turned to me. She's sleeping, and I can't sleep. So I'm kind of laying there in the dark, and typical Chester. I'm playing with my dick, even at that age. I'm doing like the flying squirrel, where you kind of pull your you stretch your nutsack out, and your dick is the squirrel, and so I'm trying to go.
Bullwinkle.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah, playing a little Rocky and Bullwinkle with myself. I'm pushing my dickhead into, because I'm circumcised, but I'm pushing my dickhead into my skin and pulling my skin up and giving myself a turtleneck.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just
Chinese finger cuffs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You've been there, so I'm not alone. I don't feel so weird. So yeah, that's I'm in the dark just doing that, just trying to go to sleep. And then I don't know what made me look, but I looked over to the corner, and there was this glowing figure. It looked like almost like someone from the Golden Girls. It was like a mini, one of those little mini afros that the old white women have.
Yeah, I know exactly which one. Blanche, even
Maud. Maud had it. Even the old lady with the glasses, she had it. Those little afros, white woman afros. So like I kind of seen this glowing figure in the edge, and it's looking at me, and with a little mini afro and like glowing blue eyes. They were just like blue LED lights. And I was like, whoa. I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what to do. I kind of like froze up for a second, and I just started screaming. Ah! My aunt gets up. She's like, what the fuck? My grandma rushes in from the other room, turns on the lights, swings open the door, and the door goes against the wall where the what, I don't know what you would call it, the entity was at. Turns on the lights, and they think I'm just like a little kid that's having a nightmare, and I'm trying to just explain to them, I guess to the best of my 4-year-old ability, what it is I seen. I don't know how I explained it, but I remember trying to tell them, that I seen something or whatever, and I remember my grandmother like pulling the door back. I'm like, no, and she did it, and there was nothing there. There was no coat rack, I mean, it was just, just gone. Everything was gone, So.
Oh, wait, can I ask something really quick?
Sure.
Okay. At no point when you just explained all that, did you ever say you put your penis away?
I wasn't wearing underwear. Joke's on you.
Oh.
So, I was a bedwetter pretty bad when I was young, and so I ran through all of my pajamas and underwear, and it was just like, fuck it, you're just going to sleep naked. Yeah,
butt naked.
My mom used to get real frustrated with me, and it didn't matter. It was cold. I had to sleep naked because I kept pissing on everything. So,
okay.
Yeah, I didn't have underwear.
Okay.
And it wasn't weird that I was in bed with my aunt with no underwear.
No.
That wasn't weird. Because
nowadays
I was only 4.
Yeah, back
then. Yeah, maybe at this age. I mean, that's up for debate.
Yeah.
If it's weird or not. I don't know. Not for everyone, but for me, I think it would be a little strange.
Yeah.
So, pretty much fast forward now another 8 years or so. I'm 12, and my mother. We're in a house with my stepfather, and I have my 2 younger sisters there, and my mom is a previous drug user. During my inception and birth and stuff like that, she experimented with methamphetamine and stuff like that. And so she would have these these experiences that she would say every time these picture frames are always turning. She'd walk around the house and she'd always have these little experiences where something she was was fucking with her. Wow. And you can't trust somebody who can't completely trust somebody who's been on drugs on meth, because if they've done it long enough, certain circuits kind of fry permanently. They're not the same kind of person. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt. Maybe she's having a flashback, a LSD flashback or something, or But
I'm familiar with those, not personally, but with family members. Yeah.
Yeah, but she'd say a picture frame's turn, and every day she turns it, and every day it's turning back and stuff like that. It's yeah, okay, Mom, the ghost is fucking with your pictures. That's not even anything that would really catch anybody's attention. You know, if a ghost really wants attention, they would do something
Yeah,
big.
it was like so subtle.
Drop a book off a shelf and,
Right.
you know, it slams on the ground out of nowhere or something like that. You know, at least that's how TV portrays it more or less.
Right.
So I'm just thinking it's just like one of her quirks or something, you know. And she had many. And so she was of the belief that it was her grandmother that was like coming and visiting her. You know, and at this time, she's already in her like early to mid 20s. My mother's only 18 years older than me, so she was still fairly young when I was 12. Then she would have been just probably about 30, and so.
I suck at math, so. Yeah.
Okay, I do too. I was really trying to piece that together. So yeah, okay. I think I got it right though. I think. Correct me in the comments if I got that wrong. I need to go back to elementary school. But so she was like maybe just 30. But she like pretty much instilled in me, I guess, in case I encountered any experience, I wouldn't be scared, you know, that, you know, oh, it's just your grandmother like coming to visit, your great grandmother, because it was her grandmother. And then so like I remember, you know, sitting in my room, and I used to collect Elvis collectibles and stuff, and I had this like little ceramic or porcelain like Elvis player where like it looks like a record player, but you just press a button in the middle and it'll play like a Heartbreak Hotel, or it'll play, you know, like one of those ballads, right?
Okay.
It's already pre-programmed into it.
Yeah.
And then I had like a stereo system. I don't know if you remember the stereos. They had the like two little box speakers, and it would have like a six disc, four disc like changer on the top. Like you can.
Oh yeah.
You open it, it comes out, and it.
Yeah.
So I had one of those in my room, and so like sometimes I'd be sitting in my room, and the door wouldn't come out. The CD drawer thing wouldn't come out, but it would like start rotating in while it was in the stereo, just out of nowhere. It was off, but it would start doing. You know, it was really weird. And then I was like, maybe it is my grandma. You know, maybe my mom's right, because now this thing is communicating with me. And so I was like, I remember like, Grandma, if that's you, if you're here, you know, or no, it was one night I was like, I haven't heard from you in a while, or I haven't seen you in a while, Grandma. Like, if you can give me like some type of sign that you're here. And that Elvis music thing started to play.
Oh shit!
So I became a believer at that time. I became a believer that like it was, if not my grandma, it was definitely like, you know, something like coming and visiting me and like kind of like letting me know that it's there. And so the craziest part to finish the story off with that is that somehow my mother came across, you know, a picture of my great grandma. So it was her grandmother, and it was in the picture is my mom as a child, like pretty much almost like an infant, like a baby, like no, not an infant, a toddler walking around the living room, and my grandmother is like sitting on her couch, kind of looking at my mom, and she's like smoking a cigarette. I don't know how my mother came across this picture, and you know, this is like maybe a few months or a year later, so I'm still around the same age, but maybe a year older, maybe about 13 or so, and my mother started keeping this picture like on her dresser. And I looked at that picture, and it was the human version of that ghost that I seen back when I was, or that thing with the glowing eyes. It was her, because I remember the ghost, the face, it kind of looked like my grandma, because I was at my grandma's house, and I remember it like resembling my grandma kind of, but not precisely. But you know, you get certain facial features and stuff from each of your parents or whatever.
Right.
So my grandmother did have some type of, you know, you could see the resemblance between her and her mother. So, you know, obviously it wasn't my grandmother, because my grandmother came in and turned on the lights and kind of ended the whole thing. But all these years later, I see the picture, and it's my great grandmother, and I can see the resemblance between my grandma. But I was like, it instantly like dawned on me. So my great grandmother for that time had been visiting me for, you know, a process of 8 years from the time I was young, which I feel like younger kids probably, they experience paranormal activity on a higher level.
Sensitive.
They're more sensitive because they're more open. you know, they don't have these preconceived ideas or whatever, that they don't try to think too rationally. They still have imaginations and such, so they're more open to these kind of experiences. And so I was visited back, you know, when I was like 3 or 4, and then it began again when I was like 12 or 13. But after we moved out of that house, my, you know, mother divorced my stepfather. I got a new stepfather, and life moved on, and I never experienced anything, and I'm kind of now, especially, you know, I don't really portray it too much in this podcast, you know, I speak so raunchy and everything, but I am, you know, born again, and so I don't try to evoke any type of spirits. I only, you know, talk through Jesus to God, or to God directly, and stuff like that.
That's another reason too why I don't talk about this as much too openly with a lot of people, because whether it's real or not, I know that we do have the power to invoke shit.
That's the thing. It's like when you only see things if you believe in them, or, you know, you can experience something and then not believe in it, and then maybe you don't notice when weird stuff happens.
Right.
But it's like when you start feeding into it, or if you start trying to summon them, like how I did with the potentially the ghost of my grandmother, you know, like it does start like coming around more, and you do start experiencing some weird shit. So.
She was probably there to be like, okay, Chester, stop playing with yourself, you know?
Yeah, trying to get me on the right track. Like, if I was there, I'd be making you so much food to eat, you couldn't get your dick hard, you know? I'd pump you so much full of sugar and sodium, you'd be fucked.
Now, just a quick question. Was your great-grandmother, when you saw her at 4, was she passed on by then?
She had passed on, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I believe she passed on when my mother was pretty young. I don't know what age my mother was. I just know that was my mother's favorite grandmother, and that she passed from cancer, I want to say pretty early, like maybe in her 40s even.
Oh.
Yeah, because my whole life, like I never even used to see pictures of her around.
Just that one day.
Yeah, I seen her spirit, and then I seen that just
13
13 years later in my life, I seen the very first picture of what she actually looks like.
And you're like, that.
Yeah, my grandmother didn't have any pictures of her mother up. There was no like family photo albums and stuff with her or anything like that. But as a kid, I did visit her gravesite with my mother once. You know, her name was Stella Lewis, and so like, my family is very everyone's separated from each other, even within. Like, I don't talk to one of my sisters at all. One of them, very few. You know, I got, like, my mom and my aunt beefing over here. So there's not really, not for many, many years, maybe over 20 years. I think we've only taken, like, a full family picture, like, once, like, at Disneyland when I was, when I was younger or something. We took a family trip with, my aunt and, my mom and, a couple, family members and stuff like that. But we never had like a lot of pictures together. But I mean, my family did keep pictures. There's plenty of pictures of when I was a child and stuff like that. But nothing of my grandmother to know what she had looked like prior to my experience. And so it's kind of cool putting a face to the person, but then also potentially identifying who was coming and visiting me. Now again, I would trade that for your experience and getting my ass rubbed, or my forehead
tapped,
peckered, pecked like a woodpecker on my forehead. Boom, boom, boom. It's like, hey, it's a gay ghost, but hey, pickers can't be choosy, or beggars can't be choosy. However that goes. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if you just had like a never mind.
Go ahead.
A ghost, instead of a ghost like trying to fuck your forehead, trying to find your mouth in the dark and stuff, wouldn't it just be nice to have a ghost that just with a hot, wet coochie that just sits on your face and you start suffocating, but you're like, this is how I've always pictured going.
You got 10 minutes to go off me.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Because, some people, they experience that where they can't breathe. They feel like they're being held down.
Yeah.
I've seen this on the internet. And
I've been through that too.
You have? What is that called?
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, but you wake up and you can't move.
Right. But I don't, I know a lot of people are like, oh, there was something sitting on my chest. Never had anything sitting on my chest.
That sounds like a heart attack.
But on 2 instances during my sleep paralysis, I saw a shadow coming out of my closet. Not in that way, but literally coming out of the closet.
Like through the door or something?
No,
or
no,
like,
the door was open, and it just kind of went whoop.
Well, look, I don't know. I want to be on your side here and just say it was a ghost. But I also have had some crazy life experiences, and I had these two friends, right? And the reason why I'm not talking about your wife or anything that she would do something like this, but it just reminded me of a story that I would like to share.
Okay,
So
go for it.
I had two friends that, like when I was younger, we'd do stuff like run trains and stuff like that. So, you fug, then you try to get your friend to be able to fug. Like,
Okay.
hey, you really like me, don't you? Like, don't you want to fuck my friend now? If you like me, you'll love Jerry, like. So, I mean, like I've said in the previous podcast, Elmer Torres, he wasn't a friend like that. He would just fuck in front of you and not, like, offer. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of friends that would. But, like, sometimes, you kind of had to, like, take unconventional methods to kind of get all your homeboys fucked, right? Mm-hmm. So I had two friends that, like, one friend was, like, having sex with his girl, and then he was like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And that was the plan. He was supposed to get up and be like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And then my other friend was supposed to come out of the closet and,
switch up.
Yeah, switch up.
And
like
just, a tag team.
Yeah, okay. yeah. But without her knowing, because, like, that doesn't sound very consensual. And it didn't happen for all legal purposes. I did not say any names, and it did not happen.
We were going down a dark path right there.
Yeah. So, like, but see, it actually didn't completely happen because as my friend was, like, getting up, this is the story they've shared and stuff, because I wasn't in the room, I was in the living room. But, like, my friend was getting out of the room so my other friend could kind of come in, creep in from the closet. But while he was still in the closet, he farted. And she could have been like us and just chopped it up to a paranormal experience. Like, what was that? That's unexplainable. But, he kind of got busted and, like, just, came out.
Standing there?
Yeah, came out blushing, like, kind of busted and just came out blushing and kind of embarrassed that he wasn't able to pull off, a coochie heist.
Oh, well.
But probably for the better.
For the better, yeah.
Yeah. Times are different now. You can't even compliment a woman's, cleavage or something at work, or damn near can't even ask them out without some type of harassment charge or something. So it's times are very, very different now. But back in the good old early 2000s, you used to be able to have essentially Diddy parties.
I mean, well, Diddy still had Diddy parties even after that, but
I was having Diddy parties.
Yeah.
So just another little sidetrack now. So.
Well, I can assure you that wasn't the case with the. I was alone. I wasn't even with my wife at the time at all, and yeah, it was just some random apartment I was staying in at the time, and that's happened. But sleep paralysis has been a thing I had been dealing with for most of my life. It's
happened more than once.
Sleep paralysis has, yes. But seeing the shadows only happened twice.
And when you seen the shadows it was the same time as the sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at no time you felt like something was, like, holding you down.
No.
And, like, on top of you, looking at you.
Right.
It wasn't like anything
trying
scary
to
like
roll
that.
me over and, But I went to the doctors for it. I looked online, and
you saw it psychological help?
No. Just I went to my regular doctor, and he sent me to a sleep doctor, and because they were like, oh yeah, you just have sleep paralysis. It's nothing spooky, nothing,
Oh, so I've always thought sleep paralysis was like exclusively a paranormal thing. Oh, it's just something that just happens medically. It's a medical thing.
Yeah, it usually occurs with people who are overweight. But the experience is I'm wide awake. I can't move my body. Yeah. And I explained this to him, and my doctor explained it to me as it's your consciousness is your consciousness is done sleeping, but the rest of your body is not. It's not in the. It's
not awake.
Yeah,
basically, essentially, it's not awake.
I don't know the exact medical terminology for it all. I just know that's the best way to explain it to people who aren't
because I have had one person come to me and say that they experienced that, and they attributed it to like a spirit or whatever.
Right.
But now that I think about it, it was Elmer Torres of Over the Fence podcast. He was the only other person in my life that has told me he's experienced something like that, and he was attributing it more or less to that. But at that time, he did look like a overfed bird. He was very,
And the thing is,
very
too,
chubby. So
I also when I looked online about it, and I saw some psychologists, interpretation of that, and a lot of them said that when you wake up in that state, you're kind of freaked out. So your mind creates these images, creates these things, and makes people think that this is actually happening to them. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I have heard what people said, I woke up, something was sitting on my chest. Because it is hard to breathe when you're in that state, because your body's still relaxed and still in that sleep state. And it feels like something is sitting on your chest. But it's just, I think when you feel that way and you don't see nothing, your brain kind of interprets it for you in a way.
Right.
That's what I read. I'm not downplaying their experiences, like saying, "Oh no, you're just crazy." But that's might be an explanation to why they feel that way.
Okay. Well, I think a part of my friend's experience also was probably had to do a little bit with like Xanax or something.
Okay.
Yeah, because like he would also like say like that is like his microwave was open and stuff like that, but he's somebody that eats subconsciously anyway.
Oh, so he attributes that also to paranormal activity.
Yeah, he basically does fat person activities and
right.
Recreational activities, and then if he shits in his bed or something, how like during the Johnny Depp trial and stuff like that. Amber Heard shit in the bed and was trying to blame it on the dog. Like, he'll do stuff like that, and he doesn't have a dog, and it's like, dude, this is getting ridiculous at this point. Like, you keep fucking, you keep sprinkling holy water around his apartment and lighting, what's the incense?
Oh God,
I should know this.
I just got one too because I wanted to burn it throughout the house.
People are yelling at us right now about it. They know what it's called.
Like, oh my God.
But I stopped doing that as well. But like it's supposed to cleanse basically areas and stuff. So he'll be doing all that, and it's like, dude, take a look in the mirror. Like pour the Xanax in the fucking toilet.
I'm gonna remember the name when we're done with this.
Yeah.
And on my way home.
It's driving me crazy too, but we're on the same page nonetheless.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so somebody type it in the comments if you know what we're talking about. Just say it for us.
Sage.
Okay.
Jesus.
Never mind.
I feel better now.
Yeah.
I just busted one right now. Jesus.
So, all right. Any other things you want to share? Anything else?
I got a ton more stories, but we can always talk about them some other time. If you're ready to wrap this up, I don't know.
I know what we need to talk about. So, are you going to start your own podcast, or are you not?
I would like to. Yeah.
You would like to?
I think. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
You have the equipment. You obviously have content. You can continue talking about this. So I'm not saying you want to necessarily make it a exclusive paranormal thing. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
I talk about for the most part is pussy and jacking off and playing with my dick.
Yeah, I know all about that too. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Oh, we had an experience. We had an experience.
We did? Oh my! That's right. Your picture.
Oh boy. So I'm going to share this for the audience. I really debated if I was going to do this or not because
shit, I didn't even tell my wife about this. I forgot to tell her about this.
Hey, wifey, surprise. So, boy. Okay. So, I've been experimenting, as you may know if you follow the Instagram and Facebook, I've been experimenting with AI as a means to promote the podcast and, draw attention and catch eyes and, interest people. And some of it's a little far-fetched and whatnot, but he was very interested in
using Grok.
Terry was very interested in learning, like, hey, how did you do that with AI? And so, I let him know I was using Grok and was kind of like showing him like how to do it. And I was like, yeah, see, you could just, upload any image, and you can either take a picture or you can go to your library and then you can start creating with that. You type in prompts to Grok, and Grok will try to like form a video or form a picture in how you described that you want the picture to look. Like if you want the background changed, if you want to be wearing a red hat instead of a gold hat or whatever. So,
and you can add your own pictures, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, well, all of the things I've been doing have already been in my gallery and stuff. So I'm showing my good friend here, and go to my gallery, and so your whole gallery pops up, and right like front and center is a picture of my hog, and not only was that so embarrassing because now I have to disclose that, look, man, I'm going to the doctor for some stuff. But now that I have you here, does this look normal to you? And then the worst part is, it's like, you basically unintentionally show someone, especially another man, your cock, and then it wasn't even like, it wasn't even how I would typically present a picture. I'd probably do a little fluffing and warming up, and it was just kind of a basic one hand propped up, log propped up.
And I've heard you mention this in your last podcast, and ladies, it is a two-fister.
Oh, see? All right. He is out of anybody.
Homo.
He can say
No homo.
No homo at all.
Yeah.
No homo at all. Yeah. The man knows blessings when he recognizes blessings when he sees them.
Very, very gifted young man here.
Yeah, he did the sign of the cross on my forehead after he seen the picture. I was embarrassed. He said, "Rest easy, my child. You're fine. God has blessed you with a very special gift. Now get out there and use it. Become somebody.
That's
Become a podcaster and just talk about jacking off so no one ever wants to fuck you." Okay, Terry. Well, we're about at the hour mark.
All right.
This video will probably cut off at the hour. We'd have to start a new one. So I think this is a pretty good place to stop. Really appreciate you coming by and sharing some of your paranormal experiences, and I'd be interested to know if any of you viewers or listeners out there, you can leave in the comments any of your experiences. If any of you would also like to come on the podcast and share an experience, maybe Terry, you can come back and we can have a third guest, and we can create something, some type of like episode, a paranormal podcast episode or something like that with other experiences. I mean, you have many more stories. There must be more stories out there. So if you are interested out there, go ahead and shoot me an email, death2chester@gmail.com, or if in general you would like to inquire about being a guest, you like what you see here, you have something completely different to share, you can share about the ice cream man molesting you, or how you discovered Santa Claus wasn't real because you found him in bed with your mother.
Or ask for his pic.
Yeah, or ask for my pic. Ask for a copy of it, because apparently it doesn't delete. It deletes off your phone, but somehow Grok still can access your deepest and darkest secrets. So just a heads up out there for anyone fucking with this AI shit. Like,
be careful.
Yeah, it does not forget.
And the internet is forever.
Yeah. So we have that. Well, all right, buddy. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
With that said, until next time, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Death to Chester. Appreciate you. Again, spread the podcast. Let's get my viewership up. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my podcast to where the Fork and Socket was when I left off, just with a new twist. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.